Greetings, and thank you for visiting Alrasta Channel. In this video, I will analyze a segment from episode 65 of the second season of the anime series Donghuastoryline. In the previous episode, we saw how great Luo Feng was when he was able to compete with the fourth and third elders. At the same time, Luo Feng also mastered the mind control skill, which is one of the skills that a mental master has. When Hong showed up, the fight for the wooden crystal on Misty Island was over. As it got increasingly hard to find wood crystals, many elders decided to leave Misty Island. So what's the next part of the story? Instead of wondering what will happen, let's get to the story. The search for wood crystals will keep going until the sun comes up. Luo Feng was looking at the Misty Island at the time. Then, Hong called Luo Feng and told him to come see him right away. When they reached where the leader was, there were already Zhu Shi and Hong's three main bodyguards gathered together. Here, Hong wants to give a reward based on what his four subordinates have done to help during their exploration of the Misty Island. Once the distribution is put into place, this time, Hong also finished the mission to explore Misty Island. But if any warriors still want to find the wood crystal, they are welcome to stay, and they will get the wood crystal without having to share it with the Extreme Martial Club. In the meantime, Hong will later send a special team of investigators to Misty Island to look for signs of foreign civilizations and do research for a long time. Hong and his three bodyguards finally left Zhu Shi and Luo Feng. But they decided to stay for a while. Then Zhu Shi went up to Luo Feng and said nice things about how many crystals he had gotten. This shows that he has a lot of money now, considering that 80 billion can be made from just one piece of wood crystal. So, Zhu Shi was told to go home before he bring wood crystal. Meanwhile, Luo Feng was off to investigate some previously unknown locations, and the two of them parted ways. Luo Feng kept digging until he was 3,000 meters down. He kept going until he finally got to an island cave he hadn't been in yet. At that time, Luo Feng's girlfriend, Zizan, had not been able to talk to him for a few days because he was in the middle of a very important mission. Even though he was very worried before, Zizan's worries went away as soon as he saw that Luo Feng was still in good condition. After Luo Feng and his girlfriend talked about what was happening at the time and hung up the phone, Luo Feng stepped on something that made him very, very surprised. In fact, the strange thing he stepped on broke his SS-class armor at the bottom of his foot. This meant that the thing that looked like the red shard was made of a strange material. Even though they are small, these pieces are very heavy. Even though it was small, Luo Feng thought the shard weighed a ton. This showed that the object was made of an unusual material that had never been found on Earth before. Luo Feng also thought that these pieces were left behind by people from other places. Luo Feng was also very wondered in how strong this weapon he found was, because Luo Feng himself had to use his ultimatum drill to damage SS-class materials. But strangely, even though Luo Feng had just stepped on the SS armor, the shards were able to tear it apart like paper. He went back to testing the shards with his SS flying knife to get rid of his worry. And when Luo Feng's SS flying knife hit it, it was easy to break into pieces. From this, it was also learned that the heavy weapon were very strong and moved at a speed of Mach 10, or 12,348 kilometers per hour. Also, these pieces don't make a loud boom when they hit the ground, because the sharp blade can stand up to the force of the wind, which slows it down. If Luo Feng put all of his energy into the red weapon, he might be able to break through the defenses of beasts at the Emperor level. Next, Luo Feng will put it to the test with the Black God armor, which is known for being very strong. After throwing the red weapon out with little effort, Luo Feng was able to punch a hole in the Black God armor with domineering force. It was even possible for a third, fourth, or fifth elder to be killed as soon as they landed with such an attack. But Luo Feng chose not to publish the scary pieces of the weapon. If he did, warriors from all over the world would surely be watching him and try to take him away from Luo Feng. Since those were just the weapon pieces, he thought that there might be more weapon pieces nearby. So, Luo Feng went back to looking, but this time he dug deeper. In fact, the piece of the weapon that Luo Feng found was used by a mysterious person to lure Luo Feng to a place that Luo Feng had never even thought of before. Luo Feng kept digging and moving around by instinct. He kept looking. He finally found a cave passageway deep below the surface of the earth. Then Luo Feng saw a mysterious glowing path covered in rocks. And then he took the rocks out of the way. How shocked Luo Feng was to see in front of him a huge, abandoned gate 10,000 meters below the ground. How it's constructed shows if it's a spaceship. Luo Feng probably found the remains of an ancient civilization that humans had never seen before.
从未发现过的古文明遗迹，在地底1万米深处，有一扇。
The metal was very strong, so Luo Feng's attacks didn't do anything to it. Luo Feng was getting more and more worried, so he turned on his ability to see what was behind the big gate. What was finally found was that there were many different passages that all led to the same place. But none of them showed any signs of life. The ruins of an old civilization were a great find, but they were also very dangerous, so Luo Feng decided to tell Hong everything. But unfortunately, the call he made ended all of a sudden. Not because he didn't get a signal, but because Luo Feng's call signal was blocked on purpose. This made him think of the Mirror House incident, when he was trapped in the ruins of ancient civilization number 9. Where Luo Feng was cut off from the rest of the world for more than a year. So he had no choice but to go into this place by himself and find out more. Luo Feng took a deep breath and then started to step through the gate. Even though Luo Feng didn't want to, he had no choice but to deal with it. When Luo Feng went through the gate, he saw an elaborate altar with a cube-shaped light shining near it. As he got closer, he smelled a scent he knew. Then he went to where the smell came from. And again, he was surprised because he saw clusters of wood crystals floating below the altar wall in an overwhelming number. Soon, he used his mental power to pull all of the crystals up to the surface. After figuring out how many crystals were in the air around it, it was found that 289 wood crystals had been found, even though the Earth troops could only get about 42 pieces. Luo Feng's discovery was more important than all the armies on Earth put together. Luo Feng also didn't hesitate and put the 286 crystals in his storage bag right away.
10个，20个，地球各方势力加起来，将部分散布出去，分布异常集中。难道是
Luo Feng, who was still curious, kept looking and went down all of the passages. Because he was sure that there were still valuable things in that place. Not long after that, he was shocked again when he saw a big body that gave off a scary feeling. Luo Feng shook in fear as he looked at the scary figure, but he didn't move. He scanned it with brain light to find out what it was. After being scanned, it was finally found that the figure was a warrior's dead body. When Luo Feng saw the body, he thought it was like a god. His own body is 8 meters tall and looks like a chimpanzee with no hair. Taking into account how his body looked, he might have been dead for years. But, strangely, the body of the figure had not broken down at all and looked like a brand new corpse. Even though it was very dark, Luo Feng was still careful as he walked through each passage. Master Luo Feng was a mentalist, so he could still use his detecting means to see conditions areas. Luo Feng found 6 more dead bodies in this dark room. The first body he scanned was the same as the one he had seen before. It looked like a chimpanzee without hair. The second body over there belonged to a strange race whose body was partly made of machines. This huge creature was half cyborg. The third to fifth bodies look almost like people, but they have horns, tails, and other strange features. There are also people whose skin is like armor and is very well shaped. It is also tall, almost as tall as a person, but it has a horn on its head. And when Luo Feng scanned the 6th body, the size of the body and the way the body parts were put together showed that it was the same as a human. Luo Feng couldn't be sure, though, because he couldn't talk to the dead. Luo Feng wondered, since most of the dead people weren't from Earth, how long they had been sleeping in the depths of the Earth. And not too long ago, Luo Feng was surprised to hear his name called from the other side. Luo Feng was immediately on guard because the voice sounded like it was speaking Chinese and even knew his name. After that, the whole room started to work, and the lights started to come on one by one. And suddenly, a mysterious person who appeared out of nowhere and scared Luo Feng easily took his sword. He asked who the young woman was who had a scorpion's tail, a pair of wings, and 2 horns like a demon. The woman quickly moved back to Luo Feng's back and told him her name was Babata. Because it looks like a devil, but is cuter. Babata also says that he is an artificial intelligence that has its own consciousness. Even though he doesn't have a physical body yet, he can make one by using a special device inside the spaceship. Luo Feng, whose sword he put back in its sheath. He could no longer act carelessly. Even though Babata wasn't that much stronger than him, he seemed to have something special. So, Luo Feng chose to stay quiet for now while he watched what was going on. Babata also said that he has become a living, smart artificial intelligence after years of training in this place. This made Luo Feng think of the ancient guardian of the crystal, number 9. He also said that Babata might be similar to him in some ways, but Luo Feng still doesn't know what Babata's plans and goals are. Also, it's clear that Guardian of the Ruins number 9 doesn't want to hurt people. From everything that has happened, Luo Feng now knows that Babata hurting him by putting weapon blades and a huge number of wood crystals in front of him, which is what brought him to this point. So, he asked Babatan what the real reason was for inviting her here. Babata's answer was simple: Luo Feng was a good choice for meteorite star. Babata's comment made Luo Feng think hard, even though he had never talked to anyone before about a meteorite. Babata was probably looking through the Heaven Forbid shuttle, which was a piece of a meteorite star. In this case, Luo Feng could only come to the conclusion that Babata was also a piece of a meteorite star, right? Bingo was the short answer that Babata gave as well. In fact, Babata is also the one who put the Guardian of the number 9 ruin on Earth to watch and choose the warriors who should get the meteorite star as their inheritance. Since Luo Feng was still confused, Babata was about to give him a more detailed explanation. But before that, he will be asked to pay tribute to the master of the meteorite star. As they walked toward their destination, Babata told them about how the meteorite star set up many bases on Earth to watch and look for a worthy person to carry on its legacy. Ancient Civilization Ruins number 9 are one of the many meteorite star bases that exist on Earth. The artificial intelligence present there is tasked with screening the warriors at the lower levels and can only follow established procedures. In contrast to Babata, whose job is to choose someone at the Star Traveler level. So Babata's level is higher than Ruin Guardian number 9. This Babata said with a sad face that the time he had passed for 50,000 years. And that the corpses there had also been dead for 50,000 years. The 7 corpses were the servants of the meteorite master, who was once a very powerful figure in the universe. However, everything changed when a war broke out 50,000 years ago, which caused the meteorite star to be destroyed. Soon after, Luo Feng felt a strong vibration, which was followed by a projection altar that showed him something that shocked him in the presence of the godlike figure with great power. This time, episode 65 has come to an end. In the next episode, I'll talk about some of the interesting things that happened when Luo Feng met the strongest person and leader of planet Meteorite. If you like Donghuastoryline, please show your support by liking and subscribing. And, for instance, if there is a mistake in a sentence, please forgive me. See you in my next video guys, bye.